I choke. Left rum.
Why something?
When you see rum,
That just last week.
don't handle rum. Hey, 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 hey. Look what the liquor make me and me friend them do. Look what the liquor make me and me friend them do. Liquor make we turn papi show. Turn papi show. Liquor make we turn papi show. Turn papi show. Live the liquor. 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 Look how the liquor have me getting on like a Nancy. Whining on a girl bumpy. Oh my God, me love me liquor when it chase it soca. Then just give me pleasure. Liquor make me shiver. Give me liquor, give me liquor, give me liquor. Give me liquor, give me liquor, give me liquor. Every session I enter, I must have me liquor. Drinking it without chaser. Give me liquor, give me liquor. Look what the liquor make me and me friend them do. Look what the liquor make me and me friend them do. Liquor make we turn papi show. Turn papi show. Liquor make we turn papi show. Turn papi show. Live the liquor. 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 The liquor make me vomit up. The liquor make me back me short. The liquor just make me
WEFM, the new fresh sound.
Activated Mornings on WEFM 99.9 is on now.
Yo, Rajiv.
Which Rajiv? And that too.
Welcome back to Vincent and the Grenadines. Time is 9:25. Use a hater and a Rolisa.
I am.
Good morning to everyone except Rolisa this morning.
He cut my cough short. I didn't even get to cough. Good. Okay, good. Clear my throat.
Welcome back to Vincent and the Grenadines. Time for Talk to Me segment. And this morning, juicy. You know how Vincy Mas just started? We have some Vincy Mas gossip. Is it gossip or is it news?
No,
I don't know.
It's actual news.
It's a learning opportunity.
It is a learning opportunity. So we have 14 days, 10 hours, 33 minutes until Vincy Mas 2024. If you're just joining us, you're listening to Ari with me. It's Christal and Rolisa. We are Activated Mornings.
What did you eat?
Yeah, I just have to ask him the same question sometimes. I don't know.
Each and every Friday.
how are you
I am
loud
so
at this
excited.
How are you loud at 7:15 in the morning? I don't ever get it. I don't ever understand.
Each and every Friday at the end of the week, there's an extra burst of energy. Jiggy Fridays is on Saturday, and I am You know what? Let me stop it. Like I just be going
Jiggy Fridays paying WeFM for that ad.
WeFM listeners ain't going Jiggy Fridays.
I know that doesn't matter who is reached once it's out. Funds up. Funds up.
You know, yesterday they actually told me, him and Jessica told me that what was it word in your
That's
use?
not your scene.
It's
Jiggy
not
Friday,
my
not
scene.
your
I had to
scene.
ask
That's not your
what
vibe.
It's not your vibe.
That's
It's
not your
Only to
thing.
realize it wasn't their vibe either. But yeah.
Anyways, none of the Jiggy Fridays. Let's get to
Yes, let's get to it.
We're
This
going down
morning.
Leeward. Good morning.
Well,
Good morning.
we are on
Senator
both sides
Nigerian.
actually. There's an incident that occurred between a producer and an artist. Now it's been happening behind the scenes for some weeks now, and I guess some people just didn't want to really shed light on the situation, myself included. Christal did comment on it,
But I didn't say who and
but she
what.
didn't call
It
names.
was last week Friday.
Last week Friday, wow.
Last week Friday itself. I had told y'all I had a rant.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So no, I'm not. I'm trying to calm down. But
You
let
know,
me
it's so
go.
interesting. You
So-
just legit can't keep still.
I
Thank
can't.
you.
You didn't know that.
Lord.
Thank
Since
you
I
very
saw-
much.
Thank you.
Wendell Coffee, who posted the contract on Saturday. Well, no, he posted it yesterday or the day before.
He posted a contract.
He posted a contract. And
He
in case you're
proposed
wondering what we're
contract.
talking about, the Fry Eye, the song that I was just playing, look at the liquor, make me and my friend them do, make we done Papi Show. He has been having some issues with his producer, Stumpy, not to be confused with Stumpy. Stumpy has been getting a lot of
And
bad
Stumpy,
blame.
It's ZJ Stumpy.
Yeah.
Poor Stumpy.
Okay.
Stumpy been getting some wrongful blame for this,
Oh
but
gosh,
it is
it's a
Stumpy,
sin.
which is a whole different person. So you know the same song. Look at the liquor with me and my friend them
That
do.
rhythm, yeah.
It was produced by Stumpy, and from all reports, Fry paid a fee of $200. Okay, we have a call, but we're in the middle of speaking. Fry paid a fee of $200 to record said song. He has since won a number of competitions with said song. He won at the Carnival launching where he received $5,000. He won at the North Leeward. He placed second, I think, at Baga.
No, he
He placed second,
at
sorry, at North Leeward. He won at Baga, I think. And he also won at South Leeward Soca Monarch. So he has been entering competitions and winning with said song. Producer saw that. Producer didn't like that. Producer then.
I can see the man like that.
It is believed that the producer didn't like that.
You didn't like him winning?
He then put, not that he didn't win, that he's not getting a piece of the pie of the winnings. He's competing with the song. So he did produce. Okay, let's say this call. This call going on for a while now.
Is your friend now? Gosh, now we're forgetting his real name.
Good morning, caller.
Good morning.
Oh, it's
Do we have
Queens.
open for?
Yes.
Yes, we do,
Do we
Queens,
have
but
open
we're
forum?
tackling a specific issue this morning.
So you're not open forum today.
Go ahead, quickly, Queens. A minute.
Go ahead.
And yeah, you're
Sammy.
open forum yesterday too.
Yes,
we
every
have
day.
Every day. Queens, yes, we listen to us
Every day at this time.
consistently.
No, Queens radio station hops. Don't
Go
set up.
ahead.
Don't set up. Don't set up Queens.
Time going. Let's go,
So
Queens.
yes,
Sam.
so yesterday I called to talk about the view.
Right.
And maybe 30 seconds into my conversation, you jump into think about this question, whatever the relationship question you talk about.
No, we were talking
Checklist.
about
So I
something,
didn't
right?
get to-
And then
Yeah.
we spoke about the view briefly, and then you called speaking about the view. So we were saying this is what we're talking
Right,
about on the view.
Because since it's open forum, that means I don't have to discuss what you're talking about. I could bring my own thing, and you don't have to. If you don't have enough response, that's okay. You may not have enough information to respond to it. That's okay.
Okay, so
But
what? Okay,
I don't
so
have to-
In the interest of time, Queens, please
wait,
go
hold
ahead.
on. Let me explain. Queens, let me explain something,
Yeah.
right? Okay, so
Yeah.
what we would
Uh-huh.
prefer is if you wish to raise something that we are not discussing, that you do it
Mhm.
at the very beginning of the program, right? At the very beginning of the intro of our speaking.
9:20, 9:25.
At 9:20.
As soon as we come
Right?
in, you
Because if we already start a
But if I
topic and
can't
we're
get
in,
in, at that time, because
Queens, it's
somebody
easy
else
to
is
get
ahead
in.
of me.
No, you know it's easy for getting, right? So we would prefer if
it's
as
easy to
soon
get
as
in, that
it's
means you don't have much
9:20.
listeners. You
No,
know how much listeners it's easy to
we
get
have
in.
listeners, but maybe
Queens.
not everybody looks a call at the same time. But if you wish to
Queens.
raise something, do it at the 9:20.
Uh-huh.
It's kind of funny when we've already started talking about something and then you come in with something seemingly random.
No, because you're changing the rules. That's what it is. You're changing the rules. It
Yeah,
should
but
be-
if-
All right, really, so we're not going to be back
Okay,
and forth with
okay,
Queens. The
guys.
time is 9:31, soon to be 9:32. Queens, could you please get to the point?
I think that's his point. That's
But
what he
that's
wants
my-
to raise
That's
today.
the
Oh,
point
okay.
I'm trying to get to.
Right.
If I'm dealing with something.
Okay, at
So
the
hold
beginning,
on,
Queens,
hold on,
the
hold
long
on,
and short
guys.
is at the beginning.
Can you hold on, Ari? Hold on.
Ask me to deal with something else.
Okay. Do you have something else to say
All right?
to us?
If you have 3 minutes on the air, so if after 30 seconds you jump in for me to deal with something else, I don't get the 3 minutes.
Okay.
All right, so that is
All
what
right.
you're calling to talk about
All
this
right,
morning.
bye-bye.
All right. Thank you so much.
Yeah, that's why I called, because
All
I
right,
didn't
so-
really like that
so-
yesterday. Can you
okay,
tell me
so
I'm
at
running from
9:20
the question because I did not call to discuss that subject. That's why I'm running from
All
it.
right, so at 9:20, we always say
thing
this
you
is the
do.
Talk to Me segment. And if you wish to say something,
That's
then
the
you
same
call
thing
at
you do
that
if you
same
have a
time.
topic and somebody else come with a different topic. You say, well, we ain't discussing that today. So I wasn't discussing. Were you discussing? Because it's open
But were
forum,
you
and my
listening
own
at the
topic
time when
I'm
we said
discussing
that?
too.
This
I
is
know,
what I
Ari,
was
I-
trying
hold
to
on, Ari, right?
Hold on,
avoid,
hold
right?
on, guys. Hold
But I
on.
know it's open forum for the whole
Let him
time.
finish.
It's just that you wasn't interested in what I have to say.
Okay.
You wasn't.
That's
you
not
weren't interested in the
that's not true.
relationship issue. That's what it is.
Hold on. Hold
That's
on.
true, yeah.
Hold on, Lisa.
But
All right. Queens.
Queen,
I've
on,
acknowledged
no
your
pause,
I've
no pause.
acknowledged your we have acknowledged your response, and I think it's something we
Yes.
have to discuss off air so we can continue the program. All right.
yeah.
Thank you so much
no
for your
problem. But when
contribution.
I have 3 minutes, and I have to
Yes.
move to something
I
else
understand
after 30
that.
seconds, then I don't have 3 minutes.
All right.
All
I
right,
understand
so have a good morning. Good
your
weekend.
issue.
Bye-bye.
All right. Thank you so much.
All right.
Take care. Let's move on and continue with the original discussion, please. We'll deal with it after.
That's anyways.
Because time is going. It's
Yes,
9:33.
time is going.
Back to Friday and
Yes, so Friday, the proposed contract has 14 points. Artist hereby agrees to pay the producer. You know what? I can't reach all of that given the time. Number one, the producer wants 10% from stage shows. Number two, the producer wants 25% from competition. Number three, the producer wants 10% from any performances. Number four, he wants 25% from previous competitions that were not paid for. Number five, he wants 10% from any dub plates or voiceovers. Number six, he wants 50-50 percentage for royalty splits. Number seven, he wants 25% from commercial usage of the music. Number eight, he wants the artist to produce any invoices for competition, stage shows, commercial use, ads, dub plates, etc. Number nine, he wants to be made the designated bank account. He wants payments, to be made to a designated bank account, which will be provided at an appropriate time. He wants promptly delivery of all necessary files that stems to the artist for the use of the stage show competitions and performances. Number 11, he agrees to grant the artist exclusive rights to use the music for stage shows and competitions, blah, blah, blah. Number 12, he agrees to ensure that all music provided is of high quality. Number 13, he agrees to credit the producer. He wants the artist to agree to credit the producer appropriately in all promotional materials, announcements, and performances. And number 14, the producer and artist agree to maintain open and timely communication regarding the usage of music and any related payments.
Nonsense. That's all I have to say.
Your views, Relisa?
All right, my view on this is this something that the producer, is this contract or the proposal, is it something that is proposed to all artists who he works for, right? And the thing of it is that this contract isn't binding because it's done after the fact, right? So I think that as a business person, if this was what his intention was, then you needed to propose it at the initial stages and not wait until you've seen the artist, well, in my opinion, the artist becoming successful with this particular track and then bring a contract into play.
All right. Well, Christal had already shared her views on it. Now, here in St. Vincent and the Grenadines, we do not follow the same regulations as the rest of the world when it comes to artists, their intellectual property, the cuts that producers should receive, none of that. In other countries, on radio station play music, the artists receive royalties from these said music. That doesn't happen in St. Vincent and the Grenadines, or if it happens,
that's not 100% true, because there are artists that are registered with Echo and they receive royalties for their
and what's
songs.
the percentage?
The percentage between producer and artist is dependent.
Not producer and artist. What are they being paid per play?
I'm not sure. That's something that Echo and the
that's
artists
recently introduced, because that's a problem
Echo
artists have been having for a very long time, and that's why artists don't really push, especially regional and international artists. When it comes to St. Vincent and the Grenadines, they don't really push for radio plays because they're not seeing any money from radio plays.
Well, that's something that they
unless
have to
they
take
register
up.
for an overseas.
Right, and there are different agencies that you can register for.
Mhm.
Echo would cover like this region, and I can't remember the others off the top of my head, but there are others out there that you can get registered for, and they would monitor, and you will get your payouts.
And it's a struggle, and that's a problem artists have been having for a number of years. So they have mostly been working on the ethics, where they believe that, okay, if a song is doing well, especially if you're entering said song in a competition, there are percentages that the producer should receive. Now, that's something that should be discussed between the artist and the producer. In this specific situation, it comes off as if Stumpa is taking...
Stumpy!
Sorry, even me, I so used to say...
Let me just say the producer.
The producer. Sorry, Stumpy. Me myself fall along in the trap. Stumpy.
Much love. Much love.
Much love, Stumpy. Stumpy,
producer. Say
the producer. Stumpy, the producer. It seems as though he he did not make it clear to Fry because maybe he didn't have high expectations for the song.
He didn't make it clear, or he didn't make it written, because
There was no contract.
even-
That's why
exactly, it
I started
wasn't even
saying
verbal.
it's usually ethics.
Right. So it doesn't even sound like it may have been a verbal contract
No.
either. Well, I mean, verbal contract, I'm not sure how binding that is. Maybe not.
Nah,
but
it just
no,
sound like he
sometimes
released a rhythm.
something-
Fry paid for the studio time. Yeah, he paid someone else to mix and master it. There are usually splits for these things, especially when you enter into competitions and you win prizes. So, for instance, the writer of Fireman Soca Monarch song last year, he received a part of that Soca
winnings?
Monarch winnings. And I'm pretty sure it wasn't I stand to be corrected. I'm pretty sure there wasn't always a binding contract, written contract.
But this is what I think needs to happen. It really should
Oh
be
yes,
a written
yes,
contract.
I
because
wholeheartedly agree.
Because you, as the producer, you're operating a business, right? And the thing of it is that you never know which song is actually going to take off.
That is true.
One of the things with songs taking off is that maybe, yes, as a producer, you may think it's just an artist coming to record a song and the song is just a song. But when the popularity builds on it, then how are you going to recoup any of the money that you're supposed to be earning if the contract isn't in place? So it's something that should be
So
there.
I don't disagree with you.
Yeah, from the very beginning.
What I would say is, since everyone has been operating off ethics, so Stumpy, the producer, would have then come and believe that this is happening. You're entering into this competition, so I should receive a sum. Now we need to also consider that Fry is a younger artist. He is not coming in with as much information as a regular artist would come into. So
A seasoned
it
artist.
is a seasoned, thank you very much, a seasoned artist. So it is important that the producer impart this knowledge and not just take the money for the studio time and then come after. Because honestly, I understand where he's coming from. If it is that I have this rhythm and you're entering the rhythm into competitions without having any conversations with me, anything, and then you're having winnings and you're not breaking me off for these winnings, then it creates some tension. What I do believe, however, is that the producer created this contract in a very emotional state. So he left the realms of logic and started being irrational with some of his acts. For the ads and for the performance, the performances is what stood out to me. The artist should not be obligated to pay you for performances. That's nonsense.
No, what it is, I raised my eyebrow is bring invoices, excuse me. When I saw that, I was like, no. Anyway, but
I kind of understand
The invoices
what you
make
mean
sense for me. The invoices
in
make
terms
sense
of
for me.
accountability
Yes.
and fairness.
Nah, I need to have
but
it
then
for my
that's my information.
yeah, for
Thank
my
you.
information. I need to have the invoices. I need to know if you enter this competition, you won $5,000 and not $3,000 as you could probably present to me.
I think the invoices will come in because it's for national competitions, the prize monies are known. Right, and they're
Right.
shared, so you don't need invoices. But like for performances and so on,
But-
like the ads running
absolute
and what to
nonsense.
be paid for
And if you pay attention to the original proposed after the fact, contract, is a bit of double dipping
Yeah.
in it. So makes nonsense.
Pause.
Sorry.
For the listeners that are that are looking forward to Community Dateline, it is 9:42. We will be bringing Community Dateline a bit later, so please just stay tuned.
But then you're making the point of Fry being a younger artist and Stumpy being
Producer.
a producer, a seasoned producer. So it makes me
Relatively.
wonder who is, well, relatively, but
It's
at
not
least he
his
still
first
has,
rhythm.
but he
It's
still
not his
has a
first
bit more
rhythm, no.
insight than, or he should have a bit more insight into the industry than Fry would have. So whose duty was it to inform Fry of what the procedure really should be? The other thing is that, and I've heard Christal mention it before, is I don't think that there's enough knowledge or information out there in terms of how a producer is supposed to protect his rights, as well as how an artist is supposed to protect his rights. I know that you mentioned that there was a session that was held about maybe 3 weeks ago, and the turnout at that session was poor, right? I can't remember exactly what the details in terms of that particular session was, but if persons, all right, let me take a step back. How was this information disseminated in relation to the session that was going to be held? And do persons think that it is of importance enough to attend? to avoid situations like this from happening again?
Now, this is the thing, right? The information is there. There are people within the industry who are more seasoned, who are more knowledgeable. The information is there. But on the ground, especially if you're new, you're going to reach out to who you know. And who you know will not always have the correct information. One, who you know might be against, for example, the CDC or this organization or that other artist. And because they are against them, you're at a disadvantage because you're not going to get the industry know-hows, right? The information is out there. Just reach out. Don't reach out to the people who you know. Reach out to those who you don't know personally, who are also in the industry, to get as much information as possible.
Okay, so for me, somebody comment?
No, I was going to list them.
Oh, okay.
There's the CDC.
Okay.
The CDC is not your enemy. There's the CDC. They have workshops from time to time. There's the Ministry of Culture, right? There's the National Cultural Foundation if you want some information. There's AMP. There's AFSA. There's the Calypso Association. There's MAS. There's PAN. There's a drumming foundation. I'm trying to list out all off the top of my head, but there are a whole set of foundations and organizations out there that you could reach out to, even if it's not specific to your industry. All of them is creative. They would know who to direct you to.
Guidance.
I think it's very important to know that although persons may have issues with certain things that CDC does, CDC should be your main source of information when it comes to artist rights and all these things, especially in this season. CDC is not your enemy, like Christal said. You don't avoid CDC when it comes to information. So if you need information, sometimes who don't have your best interest at heart, reach out to these entities. And if you're not satisfied, that is when you start doing your own research. But don't make who you the first reference, because you do not know what their reasoning is, what their logic is, what is it what's driving them to give you this information.
I
First
think
and
also
only
too-
reference, eh?
No?
They could be a first reference, but don't make them your only reference.
Yeah.
I think also too, because we have to get lawyers involved in it. Because when I looked at the contract, or the proposed contract, I wondered if it was fair, let's say, to both parties, right? So even
I
getting
can't say
a
it
lawyer,
was.
and that's the thing. So that is what I needed to know, whether or not, based on the industry standard, let's not just say just here in Vinci, but let's say regionally and internationally. Looking at the percentages, etc., was it a fair dealing or a fair proposal put forward for both parties? And even having a lawyer look over the contract, let's say before signing. Don't just go into it because yes, you want to have your song on a track. Have a lawyer at least look over the documents to see if this is an equitable arrangement being made.
It's important to know that they are in negotiations. There are lawyers involved. They have the formalities have begun
You mean after the fact, right?
after the fact,
Right.
but
Okay.
it should not have. I won't even say should not have gone that way. It's important that
I'm happy that
stuff
it
like
came
that,
out this
stuff
way.
like that
I
are
am,
publicized,
yeah.
so that artists can. Because just last week we spoke to Wayne Music, and I'm pretty sure Wayne doesn't know half the things that are happening now.
You don't know
So
that.
like artists like him could now use this information and impart it on other artists. There are a lot of there's this artist, the is it Trinidadian, the young girl, she is what, 11, 12?
The
Okay, whenever she comes back to me, I remember. Then there is the chicken and bread.
Kazim is the name we have in the system.
Yeah, so they might have managers, they might have parents, but sometimes the manager and parents don't know. So it's very important when situations like this happen, so that you're able to impart knowledge for the greater good.
And to have that national discussion on it, because it brought awareness, as Ari is saying, it brought awareness to it. And because I'm not in the industry, I did have my own questions, much less to somebody who's involved in the industry.
This happens every year.
Situations like this happen every
Every
year.
year.
Every single year.
But it's the first time
Every
it's
year.
coming to the public's to the forefront of the public, because I've never seen this. Well, I've actually never seen this type of contract posted. I've never
Nonsense.
seen it. I've never seen it.
Y'all
so.
don't even know how upset I am about this. But
Yeah, I could tell from the last time you spoke about it, but I was like, what? Not my dog, not my fight. But that Soca Monarch, it reminds you of that Soca Monarch incident last year, Josh on Soca Monarch to be exact, where another young artist, Shatter, had issues regarding receiving payments for winning winning the competition. So
and,
you know,
and even in those cases, when you're entering into the competition,
Oh.
you have to sign. You should, as contract should also be signed as well.
I'm glad
to say that upon ending of the competition,
Yeah.
you're being paid this particular day or whatever. You
I'm
know.
glad Christal said it's different. It is different. I drew the reference to it because it involved another young artist. Because I know, and as much as Jimony and I are cool, I know that would not have happened with a more seasoned artist. The artist would have asked for the money, and he would have had to find a way to get the money to him at a sooner date. So look out for the younger artists, please. And I do not feel, I know Christal is annoyed by the situation, and a lot of intentions do believe that Stumpy is a villain in the situation and he's being a bully. But I do understand where he's coming from. I just thought that I honestly don't see that. But I do think that he got carried away in his frustration and left the realms of fairness and logic in drafting this contract, because now he's asking for way too much. But I do believe that he is obligated for percentages for ads and for competitions, but performances and no, don't do that. Don't do that. That's not your creative property. The rhythm is your creative property. Unless you wrote the song, then we could have another discussion.
I could tell you he got quite a bit of people in the industry upset.
Yeah.
Down to some other producers who were like, this is not.
And that's what I was asking.
He himself has a lot of issues with people
that
behind the
is-
scenes.
That is what I was asking. What is the standard contract? What does
Clearly
it
not
look
that.
like within the industry?
Definitely not that.
But
Right.
just to let people know, that's not going to what was posted there. What was proposed
Right.
initially. But that's not what they are going to end up agreeing with. And let me reiterate: if you're new, learn as much about the industry as possible. Reach out to the Ministry of Culture. CDC is not your enemy.
All right. On that note, it is 9:50 and we have to end Activated Morning today. Make way for Community Dateline and News in Brief. Just want to tell everyone it is a cricket weekend. It is a Vincimas weekend. There is Pitini happening. There is ICC happening. Please be careful on the roads. It's not going to be as simple. Please practice moderation in your drinking habits this weekend. We saw a number of stories. We saw this week a man was jailed for an altercation where a woman who was an innocent bystander fell to her death. We saw two young girls carved out a young lady's face and even killed her, and they're facing the consequences for that. When you get into situations this weekend and going forward, please apply logic before your frustrations and think of amicable ways to settle disputes. Anyone else have anything to
All right,
add?
and I just want to add to that: be a brother's keeper in a sense, right? If you find that the friends who you go to line with, they're getting a bit out of hand, just try to remove yourself and them from a situation before it escalates. So, everybody have a great and a safe weekend, and see you guys back next week.
All right, have a good one, St. Vincent. And the great it is, we see you on Monday for Activated Morning.